Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought we would have a look at some devlogs that have come out today. Basically one for the SU30 MK2 AMV. This is a pack premium that is coming in and you can pre-order it and get some goodies. And then also what we're going to have a look at is the minor rearrangements to Ground Forces Trees 2. Basically there is a bunch of changes that are happening in terms of the grouping of vehicles, and also pretty much every tech tree is changing. So kind of crazy how much they're actually doing in terms of just making it a bit easier, but unfortunately not really reducing a ton of RP apart from when it comes to folded vehicles. The other thing I also want to mention is when it comes to the sales, this is one of the last days available for the GE sales. So if you want to pick up the premium time, or if you want to pick up discounted GE vehicles, this might be your last opportunity for this sale. Also, if you want to get the new decal, there'll be links in the description and also in the pinned comment to pick up these things, including the SU30 MK2, and you'll get yourself the new decal as well. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and like the video. Let's get started. So the first vehicle we're having a look at is the SU30 MK2. This is an exported vehicle from Russia to Venezuela, meaning that Venezuela enters the game. This is a very high-ranking premium for the Russians. It's going to be coming in at rank 8, and it's just going to be slightly below the top BR of the game. The whole point of this vehicle is to make it easy to grind to the SU27s, the SU30s, SU34, and all of those wonderful things, while using a similar platform with slightly different weaponry and slightly different internals, just to make it a little bit easier. The pack itself for this vehicle comes in with 30 days worth of premium account, 3,000 golden eagles, a pre-order bonus of a unique title, which is the Paladin of Sovereignty. It also has a unique decal, which is the 132nd Squadron Venezuelan Air Force patch, and a pre-order bonus camouflage, which is the anniversary one, which looks really, really nice. In November 2005, official negotiations began between the Russian company Rosoboron Export and the Venezuelan government regarding the supply of multi-role Su-30 fighter aircraft. Initially, the possibility of purchasing 18 to 24 MiG-29 M2UBs, the multi-role aircraft fighters, were considered, but after a comparative analysis, Venezuelan specialists opted for the heavier and more versatile Su-30. The decisive factor was the demonstration flights of two aircraft, the Su-30MK and also Mk2, delivered to Venezuela on the 2nd of July 2006. For 12 days, the Russian fighters underwent intensive testing, including participation in an air parade celebrating the 195th anniversary of the country's independence. On the 28th of July 2006, a contract worth $1.6 billion was signed for the supply of 24 Su-30 Mk2 fighter jets in the AMV, or adapted to Venezuelan modification. This configuration was to meet Venezuela's requirements. The contract included not only the delivery of the aircraft, but also comprehensive maintenance, personnel training, infrastructure development, and also the supply of weaponry. The first two fighters arrived in Venezuela on the 29th of November 2006 aboard an AN-124-100 transport aircraft. They were stationed at the Barcelona airbase, where the 13th Simo Bolivar fighter group began to be formed. Deliveries continued in stages. The next two aircraft arrived in the 22nd of December 2006, following with 12 aircraft in 2007, and the last 8 in the first half of 2008. This allowed two squadrons to be completely equipped, which significantly strengthened the country's air defense capabilities. The Su-30 Mk2 AMV remains in service with Venezuela to this day. The big part of this vehicle, which I think people will be interested in, is of course its weaponry. It uses R-73s, the all-aspect IRCCM IR missiles for the Russians. It also uses the R-27Rs and R-27ET missiles for the semi-active and also large IR missile setup, and uses the RVV-AE, which is the export version of the R-77, the active radar homing seeker missile. So in terms of Soviet equipment, it basically gets all of the really good stuff, apart from their high-end active radar homing missile, the R-77 upgraded version. It also gets access to the Kh-29TD, the KH-29L, which of course are very powerful in their missile setups. It also gets the 500 and 1500 kilo TV guided bombs, and the KH-59M, which is unique to this vehicle. KH-59M is a slightly slower missile, but still pretty quick, has an insanely long range, but it is a TV-guided missile and designed for anti-shipping. So actually using it in terms of hitting ground targets is going to be a little bit harder to do, especially with the types of AAs you have at high tier. Still should be a completely solid premium to be able to get you through the tech tree and also give you a sniff of the active radar homing meta. I thought I'd also show you the minor rearrangements to the ground forces tech trees. So this is actually coming to a bunch of them in the game, and basically it's just there to make grinding a bit easier and also to make a bit more sense. So for example, for the American tech tree, what they're doing is they are grouping together the M56 and M50, so it basically means that the M50 will be half the research price it is before. Just remember, when it comes to these kind of groups, even though the M50 has half of the total RP cost in terms to research it, its modification cost actually stays the same. So it still takes you as long to actually grind it out in terms of spading it, but actually researching it in the first place is cheaper. You can also see when it comes to the AA brigades, they are also grouping together the M247 and the Chaparral, making it so it's easier to kind of go past the Chaparral if you don't want to play it, which is completely understandable since it's a terrible vehicle. You also have kind of a similar thing happening with Germany, where they are grouping together the Raketen Automat and the Raketen Jagdpanzer II. Always find it a bit weird how they don't just put the two Raketen Jagdpanzers together, since they're both in the tech tree, but yeah, kind of odd. And then they're also grouping together the AAs, so they're actually changing them up. They're moving the Ocelot and the Gepard down in rank, and then also keeping the Roland and Osa together. So basically just making it so these are easier to get a hold of, but their research bonuses will be less. Remember, when it comes to ranks, the lower the rank, the better, because you get access to them quicker, but also at the same time, it means that you don't get the research bonus to the higher rank. So this moving down in BR basically means that you can only now efficiently research this rank, the rank below, and the rank below that, where previously you could do the higher ones. The Sturm S is also getting folded with the IT-1, which is because the vehicle isn't very good, and it's nice to bypass these things. And then also they're doing the same thing with the Osa and the Strela, so meaning that it'll be easier in the Russian tech tree to get access to the Tunguska. For the British, you can see here they're completely rejuvenating the actual general tech tree for these guys. So first of all, they're moving the Rapier down in rank, so it'll be easier to research. And then the Stormer AD is now going to be with the Osa, and the Stormer HVM is going to be with the Strela. No idea why they've done this, but basically they have swapped the group. So instead of both Stormers together and the Osa and the Strela together, so, you know, the exports or the other nations' vehicles and then the British vehicles together, they've now swapped them around. So no idea why they've done that. For China, they're moving down in rank the PG-Z04A, so maybe that'll come with a BR change since that vehicle isn't very good. For the Italians, they're doing something similar for the AAs as well. You can see that they're moving around a lot of them. So the Shilka is going down in rank. The Mistral is also going down in rank. So therefore you have two vehicles in each of the ranks for the AAs instead of this bundled up mess at the higher echelon. Then for France, they are swapping around a lot of the light vehicles and the tank destroyers, basically making it so it makes a bit more sense in terms of it. With the French tech tree, because it has so many light tanks and also so many other things, it's never really made a lot of sense in terms of like where they are in there. So now it makes a bit more sense. So the Lorraine and the ELC BIS are now in different places, since the ELC BIS is now seen as a light tank. It's in the light tank line now. And then also they're folding together the AMX-10M and the Foch instead of the Foch and the AU-F1. This once again makes more sense thematically, but won't change too much. The LVKV-42 is going down in rank. This is a positive because it means that people won't spam it to use it as an SPAA to get a bunch of challenges done, because it's just way too good at actually doing the anti-tank roll, just like a lot of the Swedish vehicles. And then for Israel, they are completely remodeling the AA tree once again by moving down the Shilka in rank and moving the Hovet down in rank too. So therefore, they should be easier to grind. So overall, with the AAs, a lot of them they're just making more accessible. and hopefully that means that people use them a bit more and they'll have complete lineups going forward. Will this actually happen properly? Who knows, but we'll see what goes on. I like these articles. I'm glad that Gaijin has been doing them. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.